All right, let's get right into it. Picture this. It's just another Wednesday, middle of the day, when all of a sudden, the most powerful and famous people in the world start tweeting the exact same really weird message. Now, this wasn't some weird coincidence. This was the start of a cybercrime so big, so audacious, it left the entire world asking one single terrifying question. So it all started with just a few huge names, like Elon Musk. At first, people were just confused. Was this some kind of bizarre joke? A really strange marketing stunt? I mean, the tweet promises to double any Bitcoin you sent. It sounds way too good to be true, right? But it's coming from his actual verified account. But then, that confusion, it started turning into real alarm. Because the list of hacked accounts just exploded. We're talking major political figures, including the former Vice President Joe Biden. And the message? It's identical. At this point, this feeling that something is very, very wrong starts to creep in all across the globe. And then, boom, Barack Obama, Bill Gates, Kanye West, one after another. You just see these blue check marks falling. It became crystal clear this wasn't just a few random accounts getting hacked. No, this was a wave. Someone or something was systematically hijacking the most trusted voices on the entire planet and basically using them like puppets. And it didn't even stop with people. Oh no. It spread to the world's biggest corporations. We're talking Apple, Uber, major crypto exchanges, all of them tweeting out the very same Bitcoin scam. The world's digital town square was officially compromised. And for a few absolutely chaotic hours, nobody knew who was really in charge. And that's what led to the terrifying question that was suddenly on everyone's mind. I mean, think about it. If the platform that presidents and global companies and journalists all use for instant communication can be so completely and totally taken over, what else is that vulnerable? What other systems that we all rely on every single day are just as fragile? In the moments and hours right after the attack, Twitter wasn't really a social media platform anymore. It had turned into the scene of a massive global crime. What's so critical to understand here is what the experts were saying. The real danger wasn't the Bitcoin scam itself, which, by the way, pulled in over $100,000. The true horror was that someone had gotten their hands on the keys to the world's most influential megaphone and could make it say anything they wanted. That's control. The situation got so bad, so out of control, that Twitter had to do something they had never done before. To stop the bleeding, they just shut it down. They blocked all verified accounts from tweeting. At all. Just imagine that for a second. The most powerful voices in the world completely silenced because the platform itself was compromised. So the billion-dollar question, right? How did they do it? You're probably picturing some scene out of a Hollywood movie. A hacker in a dark room, furiously typing code, breaking through digital firewalls. But the truth? Well, the truth is surprisingly, and maybe even more frighteningly, low-tech. The weapon of choice here was something called social engineering. And this isn't about hacking computers, it's about hacking people. The vulnerability wasn't some complex flaw in Twitter's code. Nope. It was a flaw in human psychology, our natural tendency to trust other people. And this quote just nails it, doesn't it? It perfectly illustrates the idea. Why would you spend months trying to break down a heavily fortified digital door when you can just convince someone on the inside to open it up and hand you the keys? It's way smarter, it's faster, and it's terrifyingly effective. So check this out. Here's how simple yet brilliant it was. First, the hackers identified a handful of Twitter employees who had access to their internal systems. Then, they just made a simple phone call, pretending to be from Twitter's own IT department. They created this false sense of urgency, there's a security issue, we need your help now. And then tricked those employees into giving up their login credentials. And just like that, they were in. Once they were inside, they found the Holy Grail, an internal admin tool. Think of it like a master control panel, something Twitter's own staff would use to help people, reset passwords or manage accounts. But in the wrong hands, this totally legitimate tool became an all-powerful weapon, letting them take over any account they wanted. Okay, so this hack immediately becomes a matter of national security. A massive manhunt kicks off. The focus suddenly shifts from how this happened to who could possibly be behind it. And let me tell you, the answer is going to shock everyone. This is the exact question investigators all over the world were asking. I mean, the scale of this thing, the precision, it had to be a sophisticated state-sponsored group, right? Or maybe a highly organized cybercrime syndicate. The assumptions were huge because the crime itself was absolutely enormous.
But the mastermind? He wasn't a foreign spy. He wasn't the head of some global crime family. He was a 17-year-old kid. This reveal was just stunning. It was proof that in our digital world, the power to cause global chaos doesn't require an army anymore. All you need is a laptop, an internet connection, and the right kind of knowledge. Now, the investigation moved incredibly fast. See, the hackers thought they were being clever and anonymous, but they made one huge mistake. They used Bitcoin. And while people think of it as anonymous, every single transaction is recorded on a public ledger. It leaves a digital trail of breadcrumbs, and the FBI is very, very good at following those trails.
And it turns out he wasn't acting completely alone. He came from a kind of digital underbelly, a world of underground Discord servers and shady forums where things like access, stolen accounts, and hacking tools are all bought and sold like trading cards. So this wasn't just one kid's crazy idea. It was the product of a whole online subculture. So, okay, the kid got caught. But why does a story still matter so much today? Because this was never just about a teenager scamming people out of some Bitcoin. This was a massive fire alarm for our entire digital society. The real damage here wasn't the money that was stolen. It was the trust that was absolutely shattered. I mean, if the main communication channels for world leaders and global companies can be hijacked that easily, what does that say about the security of everything else? Our banks? Our hospitals? Our power grids? Our governments? And let's be perfectly clear about something. A Bitcoin scam? That was them taking it easy on us. With the level of access they had, they could have caused unimaginable chaos. A fake tweet from a major corporation's account about going bankrupt could crash the stock market. A fake announcement of a missile launch from a president's account could have started a real-world war. But that just leads to this really unsettling question. Why didn't they do any of that? Why go to all that trouble for a relatively small crypto scam? The most chilling theory is that this wasn't the main event. This was just a test, a practice run to see what they could get away with. Ultimately, what this whole crazy event taught us is a terrifying but crucial lesson for the 21st century. The most dangerous weapon in the world today might not be a nuke or a missile. It's access. It's a single password, a single tricked employee, one simple human mistake that can give one person the power to change the world from their keyboard. And that's what leaves us with this final, really unsettling thought. The person who exposed this massive, world-shaking vulnerability wasn't a supervillain in a lair. He was a teenager. And it just makes you wonder, what could a truly malicious person, with more resources and much darker intentions, do with that same power? And next time, the target might not be just a social media company.